Did his vision come true? Were there any blind spots?
Welcome to Interchain, hosted by Roberto Capodieci. As we bridge the worlds of new and old technologies, meet incredible individuals, and delve into past visions of the future. Between technology and life with Roberto Capodieci on Interchain Me. You're now listening to Throwback Thursday.
Welcome to a sneak peek, I guess you could call it. It's something really exciting, launching in January 2025.
Oh, yeah?
It's a new platform called Interchain.me.
Okay.
It's the brainchild of Roberto Capodieci.
I've heard that name.
You probably have. He's been a senior blockchain architect, the chief blockchain officer of Jada AI, and the CTO of Synfly.
The guy knows his tech.
Yeah, so with Interchain.me, he's aiming to go beyond the hardcore techie stuff.
Really? How so?
It's more about how technology impacts our lives. Businesses.
Okay.
The whole nine yards, you know.
So it's not just for blockchain experts then?
Right. It's for anyone who's even a little bit curious about this stuff.
So how's he going to reach those people?
He's got podcasts, videos, all kinds of different series planned.
Oh, interesting. What kind of series?
There's one in particular that caught my eye. It's called Throwback Thursday.
Throwback Thursday. I like the sound of that already.
Me too. At first, I have to admit, I was a little skeptical.
Yeah, rehashed content. Been there, done that.
Exactly. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized there's real value in revisiting old ideas.
I see what you mean. Technology moves so fast. What was cutting edge a few years ago might be ancient history now.
Right. And seeing how those predictions panned out or how early concepts have evolved.
That's gonna be fascinating.
It is. Imagine reading one of Roberto's blog posts from, say, 2015.
Right.
Where he's talking about the potential of cryptocurrency.
Back when it was just this niche thing, right?
Exactly. To see how his thinking has evolved alongside the technology itself.
To see which predictions hit the mark and which ones totally missed.
Yeah, that's gold.
It's like having a time capsule.
Right. And it's not just about nostalgia. We're saying, I told you so.
It's about understanding the trajectory of these technologies.
How they've impacted our lives.
And what that tells us about the future.
Exactly. Throwback Thursday isn't just a history lesson.
It's like a roadmap.
A roadmap helping us navigate this crazy, ever-changing tech landscape.
And that's where Roberto's background is so crucial.
Right. He's been immersed in the blockchain world since like 2010.
Back when most people hadn't even heard of it.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So he has this incredibly deep understanding of how the technology has developed.
And where it might be headed.
He's been programming since he was a kid.
Wow.
So he's got that hands-on experience, but he can also explain things in a way that even I can understand.
And that's the beauty of Interchain.me, right? Bridging the gap between the tech world and everyday life.
Yeah.
It's about showing how this stuff actually impacts us.
Not just in our digital lives, but in the real world too.
So let's talk about Throwback Thursday specifically. What kind of content are we talking about here?
It's going to be a real mix. You might hear snippets from his early work in blockchain.
Okay.
Maybe a blog post from years ago where he's predicting the rise of NFTs.
I'd love to hear.
Or even excerpts from his book that was published in 2021.
Oh, yeah, I remember that book. It was all about...
Right. And looking back at it now, with everything that's happened in the tech world since then.
Right. The conversations that'll spark. Did his vision come true? Were there any blind spots?
It's going to be fascinating to see how his thinking has evolved.
Alongside the technology itself.
And it's not just reposting old stuff.
Right.
It's like a reimagining a field.
Yeah.
He's adding his current perspective.
His insights from years of working in the field.
That's where the real value lies.
Absolutely. It's like having Roberto as your personal guide.
Walking you through the history of blockchain and all things tech.
Pointing out the key moments and explaining what it all means.
And it's not just him talking at you.
No.
I remember seeing on the Interchain.me website that sometimes he'll have guest collaborators on Throwback Thursday.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting.
I can see it now. Imagine someone who was inspired by one of Roberto's early blog posts, and now they're a leader in their field coming back to discuss how that initial spark influenced their journey.
Or maybe someone who vehemently disagreed with Roberto back in the day.
Yeah.
Having a healthy debate about how the technology has actually played out.
That's the kind of conversation I live for. Thoughtful, challenging, grounded in real-world experience.
I'm starting to get really excited about this Throwback Thursday thing.
Me too. It's a brilliant concept. And it's just one piece of the Interchain.me puzzle.
Right.
Roberto has a whole lineup of series.
Each one exploring different aspects of the tech world.
And its impact on our lives.
So let's talk about some of those other series.
Okay.
I mean, Throwback Thursday has me hooked.
Yeah.
But I'm curious what else Roberto has up his sleeve.
Well, he's got one called Cool Smart People, where he sits down with some seriously brilliant minds from different fields. You know, the kind of folks who are pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Scientists, artists, entrepreneurs.
The people who are shaping the future.
Okay, that sounds right up my alley.
Thanks.
I'm a sucker for those deep dive conversations with people who are just bursting with ideas.
It's like a sneak peek into how their minds work.
Exactly. And then there's decentralizing AI. Now this one is particularly timely.
Yeah, with all the talk about artificial intelligence these days.
Roberto dives into how we can make sure AI is developed and used in a way that benefits everyone.
Not just a select few.
That's a huge topic. AI is already changing the world in so many ways.
But it's important to make sure it's used ethically and responsibly.
And that's where decentralization comes in.
Right.
Right.
It's about distributing the power of AI.
Making sure it's not controlled by any single entity.
Roberto talks about how we can use blockchain technology to create more transparency and accountability.
In the development and deployment of AI.
So it's about empowering people.
Giving them more control over how AI shapes their lives.
I like that. What else is on the menu?
Well, there's deep dive, which is literally what it sounds like.
Okay.
A deep dive into some of the most complex and fascinating tech topics out there.
Sounds intense.
Roberto breaks down things like blockchain protocols, data security, even the latest developments in quantum computing.
I'm sensing a theme here. Lots of deep dives.
Sounds like Interchain.me is going to be the place to go.
For anyone who wants to really understand the technology that's shaping our world.
I think you're right about that.
And for those who are maybe a little intimidated by those really deep dives, there's Learn with Rob.
Learn with Rob. What's that?
It's this really cool concept where Roberto basically takes you along on his own learning journey.
So we get to be flies on the wall while he's exploring new skills and tools.
Exactly. He's not just showing off, he's sharing practical tips and tricks along the way.
Making those complex topics more digestible for everyone.
I'm all for making tech more accessible. Sometimes it feels like you need a PhD just to understand what people are talking about.
Right. But then there's also the pill category.
The pill category.
For those times when you only have a few minutes but still want a dose of tech wisdom.
Okay.
They're like these little concentrated bursts of knowledge, perfect for a quick commute or a coffee break.
So it's like a tech multivitamin.
I like that. Quick and easy to digest.
Hopefully with fewer side effects.
But you know what really impressed me about the way Roberto's designed Interchain?
What's that?
Is that it's not just about throwing a bunch of content at you and hoping something sticks.
Okay.
He's really thought about different learning styles and preferences.
You're right. I noticed on the website that they have categories like, with guests, just Rob unboxing review, educational short and long.
It's like he's anticipated every possible way someone might want to consume this content.
Exactly. So if you're in the mood for a deep conversation with an expert, you can find that.
If you just want to hear Roberto riffing on a topic solo, that's there too.
If you're a visual learner and want to see a product unboxing or a tech demo, boom, he's got you covered.
It's really impressive, the level of thought that's gone into this platform.
It's not just a website.
It's like a whole ecosystem for tech exploration.
And it's all built around this idea of creating a community.
A community?
Yeah, a space where people can come together, share their ideas, and learn from each other.
You know what it reminds me of? Those old school salons where intellectuals would gather to discuss philosophy, art, and politics.
That's a great analogy.
It feels like Roberto's creating a modern-day version of that, but for the tech world.
And just like a good salon host, Roberto has this knack for guiding the conversation.
Making sure everyone feels welcome.
And encouraging diverse perspectives.
He's not afraid to tackle tough topics or challenge conventional thinking.
Which is so refreshing.
That's what's missing from so many tech discussions these days.
It's all about hype and buzzwords.
But no one's really digging into the deeper implications of this stuff.
Exactly. Roberto's not just telling you what the technology is.
He's making you think about how it's changing the world.
Both for better and for worse.
He's encouraging us to be more critical, more thoughtful in our approach to technology.
Which is so important, especially now with technology evolving at such a rapid pace.
We need to be having these conversations, figuring out how to steer this ship in the right direction.
And that's where Interchain.me comes in. It's like a platform for navigating the future, for understanding the forces that are shaping our world.
And figuring out how to make sure technology serves humanity.
Not the other way around.
So it's not just for techies.
Definitely not. It's for anyone who's curious about the world and how technology is impacting our lives.
So students, entrepreneurs, stay-at-home parents, retirees.
If you want to understand the forces that are shaping the future, Interchain.me has something for you.
It's about empowering people with knowledge.
Right? Giving them the tools to understand and engage with technology in a meaningful way.
And that's something Roberto's really passionate about. He believes that everyone should have access to this information,
regardless of their background or technical expertise.
which makes him the perfect person to lead this charge.
You've got to have someone who's not only knowledgeable about the tech,
but also able to communicate it in a way that's engaging and relatable.
and that's where Roberto really shines. He's got this natural charisma, a way of explaining complex concepts that just clicks.
He's a natural storyteller, too,
He can weave personal anecdotes and experiences into his explanations.
which makes them even more memorable.
I've noticed that even when he's talking about something really technical, he manages to make it human.
To connect it back to our everyday lives.
And he's got this infectious enthusiasm. You can tell he genuinely loves this stuff.
And that passion rubs off on you. It makes you want to learn more, to dive deeper into these topics.
It's like he's inviting you on an adventure.
And you just know it's going to be an interesting ride.
Exactly. And that's what makes Interchain.me so exciting. It's not just another tech blog or podcast.
It's an experience. It's a journey into the world of technology, guided by someone who's not only knowledgeable, but also incredibly passionate and engaging.
It's like having a tech-savvy friend who's always eager to share the latest cool thing they've discovered.
But who can also explain it in a way that makes you feel like you're part of the conversation.
And speaking of conversations, Roberto is bringing in some amazing guests for Interchain.me.
I saw that guest list on the website. It's pretty impressive.
You've got everyone from renowned experts to up-and-coming entrepreneurs.
People who are really pushing the boundaries in their fields.
And it's not just about showcasing big names.
Yeah.
Roberto's also committed to giving a platform to lesser-known voices,
People who are doing groundbreaking work.
but who might not have the same level of visibility.
I like that. It's about creating a more inclusive conversation about technology.
Making sure diverse perspectives are represented.
Exactly. And that's something that's really important to Roberto.
He wants Interchain.me to be a platform where everyone feels welcome.
And where all voices can be heard.
So it's more than just a website.
It's a movement.
I think that's a great way to put it. It's a movement towards a more democratic and equitable approach to technology where everyone has a seat at the table.
And where technology is used to empower individuals and communities.
I'm really starting to see the bigger picture here. Interchain.me isn't just about tech.
It's about people. It's about using technology to connect with each other, to learn from each other, and to build a better future together.
And that's a message that resonates deeply with me. I think a lot of people are feeling overwhelmed and disconnected in this increasingly tech-driven world.
Interchain.me is offering a different path, a way to engage with technology in a more meaningful and empowering way.
And it all starts with a simple idea, revisiting the past, to understand the present and shape the future.
I never thought I'd be so excited about Throwback Thursday, but Roberto's really onto something special here.
He is. And you know what? I think this Throwback Thursday concept says a lot about Roberto's approach to technology in general.
How so?
He's not afraid to look back, to learn from his mistakes, and to adapt his thinking as the world changes.
It's like he's saying, hey, we've come a long way, but there's still so much more to learn and explore.
And he's inviting us all to come along for the ride.
Which is pretty cool when you think about it. I mean, who wouldn't want to join Roberto Capodieci on a journey through the world of technology?
It's like having a front row seat to the future, guided by one of the most insightful minds in the field.
And remember, folks, this is just a sneak peek.
Right.
Interchain officially launches in January 2025.
Mark your calendars.
You won't want to miss it. So for our listener who's already hooked on this idea,
What's the best way to stay up to date on all things Interchain.me?
well, they can start by visiting interchain.me online.
Okay.
They've got a great website where you can learn more about the platform, explore the different series, and sign up for their mailing list.
To get all the latest news and updates.
And they're active on social media, right?
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, you name it, they're there.
They're constantly sharing behind-the-scenes content, sneak peeks of upcoming episodes.
And engaging with their followers.
It's like they're building a community even before the platform launches.
They are, and they're really open to feedback and suggestions.
So if our listener has any ideas or questions, they should definitely reach out.
And who knows, maybe they'll even end up as a guest on the show someday.
That would be awesome. Because here's the thing, folks. Interchain.me isn't just Roberto's platform.
It's ours.
It's a space for all of us to come together, to learn, to share, and to shape the future of technology.
That's a powerful message. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into Interchain.me, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about
Roberto himself.
Exactly. Let's shift gears for a moment and talk about Roberto himself. We've talked about his expertise and his vision for Interchain.me, but what's he like as a person? What makes him such a compelling host?
Well, what strikes me about Roberto is that he's not your stereotypical tech guru. He's not all about code and algorithms,
Yeah.
He's genuinely interested in people, in how technology impacts their lives, and in the bigger picture of where we're all headed.
I get that sense too. You can really tell that he cares about the human side of technology.
It comes through in his writing and speaking.
Yeah.
He's got this way of connecting complex technical concepts to real-world experiences.
Making them relatable and even entertaining.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like he's always asking, so how does this actually matter to people?
And he's not afraid to get personal, to share his own experiences and struggles.
Which makes him seem more human, more approachable.
Definitely. I think that's why he's so good at building community.
He's not just broadcasting information.
Right.
He's inviting people into a conversation.
And he's really good at fostering that sense of community both online and offline.
He is. He's always organizing meetups, workshops, and events.
Bringing people together to share ideas and learn from each other.
He's a natural connector. He sees the value in bringing diverse perspectives together, and he's not afraid to challenge the status quo.
Which is so important in the tech world, right? It's easy to get stuck in your own bubble, surrounded by people who think the same way you do.
That's true.
Roberto's constantly pushing himself and others to think outside the box, to consider different viewpoints.
And to challenge assumptions.
He's a true thought leader, and I think Interchain.me is going to be a platform for him to really amplify that voice.
And reach a wider audience.
I agree. And I think it's going to be fascinating to see how the platform evolves over time. It's clearly a labor of love for Roberto.
And I have a feeling he's got some big plans in store.
He definitely has the energy and the passion to make something truly special, and he's not doing it alone.
Right.
He's building a team of talented collaborators who share his vision.
And he's actively inviting others to join the movement. Remember, Interchain.me is an open platform.
Anyone with a passion for tech and a unique perspective to share is welcome to contribute.
That's right. Whether you're a seasoned expert, a budding entrepreneur, or simply someone with a fascinating tech story to tell.
Interchain.me wants to hear from you.
So if you're listening to this and you're feeling inspired, don't hesitate to reach out.
You can find all the contact information on the Interchain.me website.
And you know what? I bet Roberto would love to feature some of our listeners on Throwback Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine sharing your own memories of a piece of old tech that shaped your life.
Or revisiting an old prediction you made about the future.
It's a great way to connect with the Interchain.me community and be a part of this exciting journey.
Absolutely. And speaking of Throwback Thursday, let's bring it back to that one last time.
Okay.
For our listener who's eagerly awaiting the launch of Interchain.me in January 2025, we want to leave you with a final thought-provoking question.
I like it.
Think back to a piece of old tech that was particularly influential or memorable for you. It could be a gadget, a software program.
A specific technology that shaped your life in some way.
Maybe it was your first computer, a game console that sparked your imagination, or a piece of software that changed the way you work.
Now consider this. How would that piece of old tech be viewed through the lens of Throwback Thursday?
How has its significance changed over time?
What lessons can we learn from it today?
And how might it inspire future innovation? Maybe that old tech has been completely forgotten.
Or maybe it paved the way for the technologies we use every day.
We encourage you to share your reflections with us on social media using the hashtag InterchainThrowback. We can't wait to hear your stories and connect with you as we embark on this exciting journey into the world of Interchain.me.
We'll be back in January with a full deep dive into Interchain.me. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those tech memories alive.
Let's shift gears for a moment and talk about Roberto himself.
Yeah.
We've talked about his expertise and his vision for Interchain.me, but what's he like as a person? What makes him such a compelling host?
Yeah, you know what strikes me is that he's not your typical tech guru. He's not all about code and algorithms.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He's genuinely interested in people. And how technology impacts their lives.
Yeah.
And, the bigger picture of where we're all headed.
Right. I think that really comes through in his work, too.
It does. It comes through in his writing, in his speaking.
Yeah.
He's got this way of connecting complex technical concepts to real-world experiences.
Making them relatable.
And even entertaining.
It's like he's always asking, so what? How does this actually matter to people?
Exactly.
And he's not afraid to get personal to share his own experiences and struggles.
Right. Which makes him seem more human, more approachable.
I think that's a big part of why he's so good at building community.
Yeah, he's not just broadcasting information.
He's inviting people into a conversation.
Exactly. And he's good at fostering that sense of community, both online and offline.
He is. He's always organizing those meetups and workshops and events.
Bringing people together to share ideas and learn from each other.
He's a natural connector.
He is.
He sees the value in bringing diverse perspectives together, and he's not afraid to challenge the status quo.
Which is so important in the tech world.
It is. It's easy to get stuck in your own bubble, surrounded by people who think the same way you do.
Right.
But Roberto's constantly pushing himself and others to think outside the box, to consider different viewpoints, and to challenge assumptions.
He's a true thought leader.
He is.
And I think Interchain.me is going to be a platform for him to really amplify that voice and reach a wider audience.
I agree. And I think it's going to be fascinating to see how the platform evolves over time. It's clearly a labor of love for Roberto.
I have a feeling he's got some big plans in store.
He definitely has the energy and the passion to make something truly special.
And he's not doing it alone.
Right. He's building a team of talented collaborators who share his vision.
And he's inviting others to join the movement.
Yeah, Interchain.me is an open platform. Anyone with a passion for tech and a unique perspective to share is welcome to contribute.
So if you're listening to this and you're feeling inspired, don't hesitate to reach out. You can find all the contact info on the Interchain.me website.
And you know what? I bet Roberto would love to feature some of our listeners on Throwback Thursday.
Oh yeah. Imagine sharing your own memories of a piece of old tech that shaped your life, or revisiting an old prediction you made about the future.
That's a great way to connect with the Interchain.me community and be a part of this exciting journey.
It is. So as we wrap up this sneak peek deep dive into Interchain.me, let's leave our listeners with one final thought-provoking question.
Okay, I like it.
Think back to a piece of old tech that was particularly influential or memorable for you.
It could be a gadget, a software program.
A specific technology that shaped your life in some way.
Maybe it was your first computer, a game console that sparked your imagination, or a piece of software that changed the way you work.
Now consider this. How would that piece of old tech be viewed through the lens of Throwback Thursday? How has its significance changed over time?
What lessons can we learn from it today?
And how might it inspire future innovation? Maybe that old tech has been completely forgotten, or maybe it paved the way for the technologies we use every day.
We encourage you to share your reflections with us on social media using the hashtag InterchainThrowback.
We can't wait to hear your stories and connect with you as we all embark on this exciting journey into the world of Interchain.me.
We'll be back in January with a full deep dive into Interchain.me. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those tech memories alive.
See that?
Roberto Capodieci on Interchain Me.